You hear that whistle?
So did, Amos. That whistle means Rinso white, Rinso bright, Rinso new.
That's right. It means that this is Sunday and we're on the air for Rinso with sodium.
The Amos and Andy Show with Lou Lubin, Ernestine Wade, Johnny Lee, Jeff Alexander's music, and radio's all-time favorites, Amos and Andy. Yes, sir, the Amos and Andy Show, brought to you by Lever Brothers Company, makers of Rinso, the only soap that contains solium. That's why Rinso gets your clothes whiter and brighter than new.
Rinso white, Rinso bright,
Rinso new.
happy little wash day song.
Over the years, George Kingfish Stevens has been on the receiving end of many a bitter tirade from his wife, Sapphire. Right now, from the way she's just entered the apartment, it looks like he's in for trouble again.
George Stevens, I want to talk to you. You hear me? You loafer?
Now, wait a minute, Chair. Don't flap your big mouth at me. I was right here in the room. I ain't over in Mesopotamia, you know.
Listen here, you. We got something serious to discuss. It's about a job.
The job, now take it easy, honey. Don't you dare come in here saying a nasty word like that. Don't you know that work is the worst thing that was ever invented for the human being? It's bad for the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, and every other part of the human anatomy. Work is responsible for all the misery and suffering in the world today.
George, the job is for me.
Well, like I say, work ain't never killed nobody now. It's the boon of mankind.
George, don't you feel the least bit ashamed that your wife is the one that's working? That your wife is the one that supports you? Ain't you ashamed of that?
Well, why should I be? Did Mr. Curry go around with a sheet over his head just 'cause his wife discovered radium? Did Mr. Joan of Arc stick his head in the sand just 'cause his wife done won the French and Indian War? Them boys can take it, so can I. Why are you working, honey?
George, I ain't going to tell you where I'm working. And I'm using my maiden name on the job because I don't want you hanging around there on payday like you've done every time I had a job.
Now, what is you insinuating there? I ain't never hung around no place while you work waiting for no paycheck.
Ain't hung around. How about the time when I worked at the laundry? The night before payday, you parked yourself outside the cashier's window with a blanket and a camp stool.
I forgot about that. I got my picture in the paper, though. They thought I was waiting for the World Series to open that time.
And that wasn't the only time you got my paycheck. What about the time I worked in the bakery? And the time I worked in the department store? And what about that time I worked in the restaurant? You come in a busboy's outfit and picked up all my tips before I got to them. What about that?
Well, you see, that is,
And that's another thing I'm fed up on. That silly laugh you give every time you're on a spot. You sound like a hyena.
Now, wait a minute. Don't you call me no hyena. And I'm going to tell you something.
You ain't going to tell me nothing, you lazy loafer.
Now, listen, I'll tell you plenty.
You telling me? Why, you ain't nothing but a shiftless, irresponsible sponger.
Listen here.
You ain't no good. You never was no good. And you ain't worth nothing to nobody. And you ain't got one brain in that stupid empty head of yours. I'm going in the bedroom.
Well, I guess I told her where to get off. Hello, Andy.
Hi, Kingfish. Hey, why you sitting here in the lodge hall with your head in your hand? You look like you was disgruntled.
Andy, my wife done got a job this morning, and it started me thinking about myself. Andy, look at me. You was my lifelong pal, my best friend. What is I?
Well, the answer I got in mind would break up the friendship.
Yeah, you're right, Andy. I goes along with you. I is nothing. I is sunk lower than a man can sink. Last week to pay my debts at the pool hall, I even had to hock my bridge.
No fooling. Hey, I noticed your left cheek was a little saggy around the jowl.
Yes, Andy. I tell you, it's a pretty sad thing for a man to pass a pawn shop and see his own teeth grinning at him from behind a mandolin.
Yeah, that's right. You is about as close to nothing as they come, I guess.
Yes, Andy, I wasn't always this way, old boy. And that's what hurt me. The way I has wasted my life after the promise I done showed in my youthhood. Look, Andy, I done dug out my old grammar school yearbook here from Marietta, Georgia. I got it right here. Here's my picture on page 7. Look at that.
You was a pretty good-looking fella in them days.
Yes, Andy, when I looked at that, and I guess all choked up. I shed a tear for my lost youth. I sobs for my lost hopes. And I cries for my lost dreams.
You better bawl a little for your hair, too. That ain't coming back neither.
Yeah, and look at here, Andy. Alongside of my picture, they give the list of my honors. President of the class, voted most likely to succeed. Glee club, debating society, class valedictorian, and jump center on the girls' basketball team. Look at that, see that? Yeah. They were short of girls that year. I was in that jump.
Yes, sir. You was a busy fellow, all right.
Yeah, and look here at the poem my classmates wrote to me. It says, to our class president, O lamp of knowledge burning bright, a beacon shining far and clear, this learning shine through darkest night to light the way for classmates dear.
Boy, talk about the light that failed.
Yeah, you're right, Andy. Just look at me here. No job, no money, my wife working to support me.
Yeah, if your friends back in Marietta ever see you now, they'd sure rewrite that book.
Hey, listen, Andy, I never told nobody this, but all the years I've been up here, I've been writing to the people down in Marietta that I was a big success. Down there, they think I was a combination of John D. Rockefeller and General MacArthur and Gorgeous George.
Yeah, I guess they done believed all you writ them, too, huh?
Yes, and got around, too. They put a story in the paper about local boy makes good, stuck my picture in there and everything. Oh, I tell you, Andy, if I kick the bucket tomorrow, they'd have a picture in there a foot and a half long. You ain't never seen that like that.
Yeah, well, with Marietta 2,000 miles away, at least they'll never find out what a bum you really is.
Oh, yeah, and they really think that I is George Kingsley Stevens speaking.
Well, I bet you don't know who this is.
Yeah, but I'll send you a check the first thing in the morning.
No. This is Sam Jackson. You know, Sam Jackson.
And those, I don't know Sam Jackson. The only Sam Jackson I know is the editor of the Marietta Chronicle. And I know you can't be him because he's 2,000 miles away in Georgia. You got the wrong number. The best thing you can do is hang up, stranger.
Yeah, but I am Sam Jackson from Marietta.
No.
What's wrong?
And this definitely ain't going to be one of my good days.
Well, George, it's sure good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's nice to have you call while you're passing through between trains.
Oh, no, George, I'm not between trains. I'm going to be up here a month, and I'm planning on seeing a lot of you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I want you to come up to dinner Wednesday and bring the heiress with you.
The heiress?
Yes, you know, that millionaire's daughter you wrote us you married. You know, the one whose father owns half the banks in New York?
Oh, yeah. I'm married all right. Yeah, beautiful ceremony, too. Right in the lobby of the First National Bank. Oh, yeah. Flowers, girls, blotters.
Well, George, I'll expect the two of you Wednesday night at the Amsterdam Arms. Say about 7-ish.
Excuse me for protruding, but what was that thing?
I say, how about 7-ish?
You mean 7 o'clock-ish?
Well, that's right.
Yeah, that'll be fine-ish. See you then. So long, old boy. Oh, Andy, what is I going to do? That was Sam Jackson, the editor of the Marietta paper down there. The man that's been printing them big success stories that about me. If he finds out that I've been lying to him all these years, that'll make front-page stuff.
Yeah, you telling him Sapphire's a banker's daughter. When he get a load of her, he's going to think there was a run on the bank. And she got trampled in the rush, too.
Listen, Andy, I can't take her with me anyway. She started to work this morning, and she says she won't be getting home till after 10. I'll just have to make some excuse for her not coming.
Yeah, but what you going to do about yourself?
Well, now, wait a minute, Andy. I've been thinking here. All I got to do when I go up to this place is put on a big front. And he'll go back to Marietta still thinking that I was a big shot. Yeah, what is I worried about? I just go up there looking like a big, successful businessman.
You going to do that? Well, Kingfish, I is here to gild the lily. But you're going to have to dig up Rembrandt to do much with an old eggplant like you.
Hello? Simpson's Market? This is Mr. Jackson. Yes, what happened to my order? The cook phoned it in this morning, and I'm expecting a guest tonight. Oh, it's on the way up, huh? Oh, fine. I'll tell the cook. Goodbye. Well, the market says the order will be up in a few minutes. And this guest I'm expecting is an old friend of mine. So I'd like you to serve a nice dinner, Sapphire.
You can count on me, Mr. Jackson.
Happy little wash day song, for a wash that's whiter and brighter than new. Rinso washes, Rinso new. Rinso white,
Whiter than you,
Rinso bright,
brighter than you,
Rinso white, Rinso bright.
Rinso new.
Rinso New. It's true. Rinso, the only soap that contains solium, gets white clothes whiter and washable colors brighter than new. That statement is certified by the laboratories of the United States Testing Company, Incorporated. Yes, Rinso gets clothes Rinso New because Rinso puts sunshine in your wash, even if you dry it indoors. It's a fact that no other soap gets clothes so white or so bright because no other soap contains the scientific sunlight ingredient, solium. Use Rinso for your heaviest wash. You'll see for yourself that Rinso gets out more dirt than any other type of wash day product. And yet Rinso is so safe for your clothes and so kind to your hands. On wash day, use Rinso and see your wash become whiter, brighter than new.
Rinso white, Rinso bright,
Rinso new.
happy little wash day song.
Well, Andy, I just about ready to go up to Sam Jackson's for dinner. How does it look, son?
Not bad, Kingfish.
Yeah, I done got out my old dinner jacket here.
Old dinner jacket, huh? I noticed on the lapel some of the old dinner is still on it.
Yeah, well, I plans to wear a carnation there to cover the worst of it.
Yeah, but what about the trousers? You can't wear no carnation down there.
Well, I figured to stop by the cleaner, take one spot the thing for me, man with a sponge waiting at the door there.
Yeah, well, that's good. I tell you something, Kingfish, the overall effect ain't bad. Hey, you smell pretty sweet there. What you got on you? You the cologne or something?
Yeah, something that I got down at the squirt machine at the drugstore. It's a delicate little scent called Run for the Hills.
Yeah. Well, that ought to make an imprint, all right. When you walk in that door, you're going to have an upper bracket smell to you, all right?
Yeah, I think this heavy gold chain across my vest here is going to make an imprint on Miss Jackson, too, you know.
Oh, yeah, that looks good, all right.
Yeah, my gold watch and knife is in hock at the moment. I'm wearing lead sinkers on each end of the chain, you see.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I better get started.
You say Sapphire working late again tonight, huh?
Yeah, she still ain't told me where she worked, but it's just as well that she ain't going up there with me. She'll give me away in a minute, you know.
You said it. Lucky you ain't going out and eating the restaurant, because who knows? You might run into Sapphire slinging hash.
Yeah, well, eating up at Jackson's house, I got nothing to worry about. I'd say if it's this we was eating in the vault at Fort.
Well, George, it certainly is good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Sam. Nice to see you.
You know, George, you sure look good. Hey, I'd say you must even be more prosperous than we gathered from your letter.
Oh, yeah. Well, to tell you the truth, I did have a pretty good fiscal year last year.
I guess you did.
Yeah, I managed to fiscal myself a hatful, all right.
Hey, you know one thing, though, George. I'm sorry your wife's in Florida. I was looking forward to meeting her.
Yeah, well, like the bird, come the first cool spell, she wings away down south. She done flapped down there about a week ago.
Well, Florida's a great place, all right. Has your wife ever visited the Everglades?
No, she usually stays with some friends of my mother's.
Well, you're the same old kidder, aren't you, George?
Yeah, I guess I is. I just know.
Hey, say, George, I think we can go in the dining room now. I'm sure the cook is ready.
Yeah, well, say, Sam, the way we've been tater-tating here, we've been doing most of the tating about you. Is you still the latest man that you was?
Well, yes, I'm still interested in the opposite sex.
Oh, you dog.
Well, of course, I must admit I attract a more mature type of woman now than I did in the old days.
Yeah, well, that's the way it goes, you know. When we is young, we think there's plenty of fish in the sea. But when we get older, we has got to settle for what gets washed up on the beach.
Well, I try to stay as young as I can, George. I'm even taking dancing lessons while I'm up here.
Dancing lessons?
Yeah. You know, I want to learn all the new tricks.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea, you.
Well, now you can sit right down here, George.
Yeah, well. Hey, this girl looks nice.
Yeah, I just hired a new cook, too. He gets the meals and serves them for me. I'll have her to bring in an appetizer. Hey, George, I hope you like tomato juice as a starter.
Oh, yes. I like plain food once in a while. Of course, we usually starts off with caviar and ammoniated herring or something like that at home, you know.
Well, I guess you live pretty high, George. A lot of rich food and all that.
Oh, yes. I've had the gout for 16 years. My feet's bloated up like watermelons on me.
Well, George, I guess we're just about ready to start here.
Yeah, well, dear, I done left my glasses inside on the hall table. I better get 'em. Once up at the Vanderbilts, I had 6 snapdragons out of the centerpiece. Thought I was eating celery. Pardon me a second, Sam.
Well, certainly. I'll buzz for the tomato juice.
I brought the tomato juice in, Mr. Jackson.
Well, good, Sapphire.
Where's the cat?
Oh, he just stepped out in the hall a minute. You can bring in the roast when it's ready.
Very well. I'll be just a few minutes.
Well, my glasses was right on the hall table. Sit down.
Yeah, sit down, George. I think we have a nice supper ahead of us. This cook is supposed to be very good.
Yeah, well, you was lucky. Good help is the problem, all right. We got a downstairs maid who won't go upstairs, and we got upstairs maid who won't go downstairs. We had to hire another one just to stand on the landing and shout orders at the two of them. It's a mess around our place. Damn, they're right.
Well, this girl's a good cook, but she's a sad case. She has a husband who's a bum and won't support her.
You don't mean to tell me. I had no idea there was men like that in this world.
Yeah, it seems her husband doesn't get out of bed until noon, and then spends the rest of the day in the pool hall.
Man like that belongs in the clink.
Yes. I see you finish your tomato, though. I see you finish your tomato juice. Care for a cigarette? Sapphire will bring in the roast in a minute.
No, I don't like to smoke. I don't, pardon me, Sam. Having a little trouble with my hearing. I had my sinuses drained yesterday, and there's a nasty echo in there. You didn't by any chance mention the name of Sapphire there?
Why, yes, that's my cook's name.
Let me get this straight. The gal who is going to bring in the food here out there, her name's Sapphire?
Well, that's right.
Her husband's a bum?
That's right.
And he plays pool all day?
That's right.
If the Russians ever going to drop that bum, I wish they'd drop it now.
What's the matter, George?
Nothing. You see, I just used to know somebody by the name of Sapphire. Tell me, Sam, what kind of looking gal is she?
Well, she's rather hard to describe.
That's her, all right. That's her.
Well, pardon me while I answer the phone, George. I think I hear Sapphire coming in with the roast. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Oh, me. Holy smokes. Come in, old.
Well, here I am with the... nobody here. I wonder where Mr. Jackson and his guest went. Well, I better put this roast back in the oven.
Now let me get out from under this table and get down the fire escape. So that's the story and the bridge. After I beat it up at Sam Jackson's apartment, I sent a note telling him that I took sick.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah, I writ him that I had a chronic case of acute indigestion, and right after the tomato juice, the thing done queued it up on me.
Yeah.
And I also said that I'd be in the hospital till after he left town, whenever that is. Oh, I tell you, Andy, with Sapphire using the maiden name, I was in the clear. Talk about wiggling out of things. If I was a worm, them early birds would come up shy every morning.
Yeah, well, Kingfish, the thing to do is to...
Well, Shorty the barber, how's things going over at the barber shop?
Oh, I've been awful busy. I've had the best. The customers were lined up for block. I never made so much money in my life. The shop was going great. The money was just low. I been bankrupt for a month.
Yeah, well, that's too bad, Shorty.
Hey, Shorty, is you from Marietta, Georgia? You remember Sam Jackson down there, don't you?
Oh, yeah. He was the editor of the newspaper down there. Good old Wolf Jackson, yeah.
What you mean, Wolf Jackson?
He was the biggest ladies' man in town. The gals were just crazy about him. And he'd make a play for anything in skirts.
Holy smokes.
What's the matter, Kingfish?
I forgot about him being a wolf. You're right. And Sapphire's up there working for him. Suppose they got interested in each other.
Yeah, that happens in real life sometimes, just like it happens in friction.
Yeah, what is I going to do? I can't tell Sam she's my wife. Then he'll find out that with my wife working as a cook, I must be a bum. Oh, me, what is I going to do?
Well, Kingfish, you think after all these years Sapphire going to become infatuated with another man?
Yeah, Andy's right, Kingfish. You was always supported Sapphire. You was showing her you was an intelligent. You was always with a husband she could look up to. You was got lots of. You was in trouble.
This is Ken Niles. Friends, I'm not easily amazed, but here's something that certainly impresses me. Clothes washed in Rinso with Solium turn out almost unbelievably bright. Whiter, brighter than new. Yes, that's right. White clothes are actually whiter than new, and washable colors brighter than new. That statement is certified by the laboratories of the United States Testing Company, Incorporated. When you use Rinso, your whole wash comes Rinso new. That's because Rinso, and only Rinso, contains the scientific sunlight ingredient Solium. Even on rainy days, when you dry your clothes indoors, Rinso with Solium puts sunshine in your wash. Rinso's so safe for clothes, so kind to your hands. Remember, only Rinso gets your wash so white or colors so bright. In all the world, only Rinso contains Solium. Get Rinso right away.
Oh, me Sapphire up there with Sam. What is I going to do? Oh, Calhoun, the lawyer. What is you doing over here?
Just on my way to the bank. A client of mine left me $500. Give me a check for $500 this morning. And I done him a big favor and told this money.
Oh, what did you do for him, Calhoun?
Withdrew from the case.
Look, Calhoun, I was in an awful spot. My wife got a job with a fella, and I think this fella is going to make a play for her. Now, what must I do about it?
Don't do nothing. Let him suffer the way you had.
Oh, no. You see, this fella is a friend of mine from my hometown.
Well, in that case, just tell him Sapphire's your wife, and he won't make no play for her.
I can't do that, Calhoun. I've been trying to impress this fella that I is a big shot. And if he finds out that this cook is my wife, I really gonna be in a mess here.
Well, now, Kingfish, this is all supposition here. You don't know that this fella gonna make a play for your wife. Get all the facts before you act.
Yeah, that's easy to say, but how's I gonna do it?
Watch her like a hawk. Plant yourself outside the apartment house and watch every move they make.
Yeah, say, that's a good idea. I'll get Andy to help me. Oh, me, what a mess to be in.
Well, now, Kingfish, you only got yourself to blame. You got yourself in this mess because of lies and falsehood. In life, we must never deviate from the honorable and truthful way. We must all...
Hello? Oh, it's for you, Calhoun.
Oh, thank you. Hello. Oh, hello, client. What's that? You was worried about the DA using them financial statements as evidence against you? Listen, don't you worry. I'm going to put a witness on the stand who will testify them statements as a forgery. They couldn't possibly have been written by you. That they were planted in your office by a former employer. Yeah, don't worry about nothing. I'll handle it. Goodbye.
Yeah, well, you got the case covered, ain't you, Calhoun?
Almost. Say, don't you know anybody who would make a good witness?
Mr. Jackson, I finished up the dishes.
Well, fine, Sapphire. Oh, by the way, this is Miss Burke. She's giving me rumba lessons. I want to take a few lessons back. I want to take a few of the ladies' steps back to Marietta.
How do you do? How do you do? Well, I'll be running along. Good night.
Good night, Sapphire.
Well, now, Mr. Jackson, shall we get started? To do the rumba, first you take up this position. You put your right hand around my waist. And you hold your left hand up like this.
This way?
Yes, that's it. That's right. Now let's try to do it without music. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Here's the apartment building where Sapphire works right across the street, then.
And you say Sam Jackson's apartment is on the 4th floor there, huh?
Yeah, that's right. The one where all the lights is.
And where the shades is down?
Yeah. You know, Andy, I was just thinking, this is silly trying to spy on Sapphire. I've been married to that woman for 22 years, and I know that she wouldn't be attracted to no other man. And the fact that the lights is on up there proves that I is right. Oh, I tell you, Andy.
The light just went out in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, that don't mean nothing. I know that Sapphire would never...
The light just went out in the dining room, too.
Now, wait a minute, Andy. Don't open your big mouth and jump at no conclusions here. They probably just conserving electricity. Yeah. That's what they're doing, conserving electricity, yeah.
Yeah, if they start conserving it in the living room, you better get on up there.
Now, wait a minute, Andy. I know my wife. She ain't the type that flirt with men. She ain't no coquette, no, none of them things.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Sapphire ain't the kind, Hey, Kingfish, look. Look up at the living room. Look on the shade. There's two shadows there.
Yeah. And one's a man and the other one's a woman. Oh, me.
Well, now take it easy, Kingfish. Take it easy. Maybe she brung the dishes in the living room and he's helping her dry 'em.
Andy, I can't look. I can't. Tell me what's happening.
Okay. Well, the two shadows is getting close together. Now the two shadows is closer together. Uh-oh. Now there's only one shadow. But it's got two heads on it.
Yeah, that's all I got to hear, Andy. Come on, Andy. I'm going up there. Come on with me across the street. I'm going to get that fella. I'm going to punch him right in the nose. I'm going to tell you, you ain't never seen nothing. Come on, let's get on in the lobby here.
George Stevens!
Sapphire, what is you doing down here when your shadow is up there?
What are you talking about?
Now, don't you try to fool me. You know very well, right at this minute, you was upstairs in Mr. Jackson's arms.
George, Mr. Jackson happens to be up there taking a lesson from his dancing teacher.
So long, Kingfish.
Oh.
George, I want an explanation of what you doing sneaking around here. Is you trying to find out where I work so you can get my pay again?
Oh, no, honey, no,
You're
no.
sneaking around here for some reason. Now, what is it? I'm waiting for an explanation.
Well, honey, you see, I mean...
Now, wait a minute. I don't want you giving me that silly laugh you always give me when you're in a spot. What are you doing here, you bum?
Well, now, honey, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to let down my hair. Well, I'm going to tell you the truth anyway. It so happened, honey, that Sam Jackson, the man you was working for, is from my hometown in Marietta, Georgia.
Now, wait a minute. Say, George, was you the guest up there the other night? The one that run out?
Yeah, honey. And you got to give up that job. You see, back home in Marietta, everyone thinks that I is rich and a big shot up here. And if Sam finds out that my wife is his cook, why, that's going to take all the big shot of stuff away from her down there. Now, you got to quit your job, honey.
Well, George, I can understand your feelings. But after all, you know the reason I took this job is because we need the money.
Well, now, look, honey. If you quit, I'll go out and get a job myself. Claire will. I'll take any kind of job, just so long as you quit.
Well, all right, George. But this is really going to be a new experience for you. You going out searching for a job for the first time in your life.
Yeah, great adventure for me. Now I know how Columbus felt, but So, Sapphire, you done quit your job and the Kingfish done went to work, huh?
That's right, Amos. But I kind of tricked the Kingfish. I didn't tell him Mr. Jackson was called back to Georgia unexpected, and I was going to have to quit anyhow. He's leaving tomorrow.
Oh, Miss Jackson is, huh? Mm-hmm. Well, I can see how the Kingfish done felt about the whole thing. Trying to keep up the front he done built up back in Marietta, you know.
Yeah, Amos. I guess it's just human nature for everybody to want somebody to think they're important.
Yeah, well, I think the whole thing has worked out fine with the Kingfish going to work and everybody down there still thinking that the Kingfish...
Baltimore, Washington, Atlanta, leaving on track 7.
Well, that's my train. Gosh, these bags are heavy.
Oh, Red Cap.
Yes, sir. Glad to help. Sam Jackson. George Stevens.
Are you a Red Cap?
Well, no, you see, the thing is, I told, And what did they think would happen if women ran the country?
Well, I only know one thing, Amos. When women start running the country, I start running to the city.
Well, city or country, there's something that wouldn't change. That's the way all women go for Rehearsal.
Why, sure, Amos. All over the world, more women use Rehearsal than any other wash day product. Today's Rehearsal, with amazing Solium, actually gets clothes whiter and brighter than new. Rehearsal new. Get the economical, giant-sized Rehearsal.
See you next Sunday.
See the current issue of Radio Mirror magazine for an amazing feature article on Amos and Andy. That's the November Radio Mirror, on your newsstand now.
It's here, the miracle of modern shortening. Fry is homogenized.
Homogenized?
Homogenized. Fry is homogenized.
Better use fry.
All fry in the blue gingham can is